today's topic for my fun mini podcast is my hospital experience that's different from America that I found out. Well, actually, each hospital is also different. So some of them might actually follow the Korean method, but I got a chance to compare the experience with my sister-in-law who gave birth last year. Yes, last year. So it's been a year. Yeah, because this weekend, I celebrated my cousin's, no, not my cousin, my nephew. Wow, it's so weird saying the word nephew. You would never think I'll be saying that word, but I celebrated his birthday, his first birthday this Saturday. So that was interesting. I woke up like 3 times that night so every time I was breastfeeding, I woke up to call my brother or my mom to wish him happy birthday. So I got really exhausted this weekend, but that's why I was kind of happy that the baby woke up on Monday, because I was so exhausted to like talk a lot, and I knew that my brain wouldn't be functioning. So I got a good night's sleep last night, kind of good night. But yeah, I got to compare her experience, especially because my mom helped out a lot for her. So it was pretty interesting. Anyway, so I gave birth on May 12th. It was 3:30 in the morning. 32, exactly 3:32. And after they finished sewing down there and getting me ready. Actually, before that, they gave me seaweed soup in the hospital, like in that same bed that was bleeding and everything. And I think that's the most positive thing about doing natural birth versus C-section. But yeah, I gotta eat it right away. And let me just tell you how amazing Korean food are, like the quality that it came out with, because I really enjoyed the hospital food. Sometimes some people actually complain about the hospital food, saying, oh, it's like not good quality, or oh, I wish they would give something else. But I actually really liked it, so I have no problem with it. But yeah, that I would have to say was amazing. Anyways, and so after that, they helped me. I was in a wheelchair. I thought that was pretty funny because I thought I could walk, but they wanted to 100% like settle me down. So but yeah, after I gave birth, I can understand why people prefer natural birth versus other things, because I was fine, really fine. I was just really tired because, like I said, if he came out 3:32 in the morning, I didn't get any sleep. So I woke up, or I got to the bed, and what sucks about the hospital that I was in is they don't place you, it's all random, so they don't place you right away into a 1-person bed. You can pick, but instead, if all the 1-person bed are full, then it's like 2-person, like not 2-person bed, it's like a room filled with 2 people. There's that, or the cheapest is like 6 people in a room. I think it was 6. And if I get either the 6 people in the room or the 2 people in the room, Mia can't like spend the night with me. So that really sucked. Instead, maybe the hospital fee was a little cheaper, but I was praying that whole night, hoping that there wasn't that many pregnant or women who was giving birth. So I was really lucky to be in a 1-person bed at the time. So that happened, which was really good. And the room was so small. Barely had a place for the other person to sleep in. They gave you this really crappy couch. Oh, I should have pictures. I actually took pictures. I don't think I uploaded it. Either they had this like crappy couch, so that's Mia sleeping on it, but I guess it's not any better than in the US, but you can see how like small it is. Mia is 178 centimeters, and that bed was definitely short for him because his legs was hanging off to the end. And so this was, as you guys can see, 8 in the morning. I took 8:30 in the morning. he didn't get any sleep, so he ended up pulling an all-nighter, so he was very exhausted. Poor guy, right? And I had all my crap down there. So yeah, when we got to the room, like I said, very small. Either he slept on the couch or on the floor. He ended up sleeping on the floor, but it also sucked. He said this was as bad as him being in the Korean military, so you can kind of imagine how like crappy the experience must have been for him. But I had a nice comfy bed. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of the bed. I didn't get to take that much picture because I was very exhausted, which hopefully makes sense to you guys. But yeah, so we slept right away, and then they gave us our first meal. I actually have pictures too for that. The first meal was something like this. So I was in here for 3 days, and every meal except for one meal had the seaweed soup. And by the end, I got so exhausted. I don't know about Koreans, but they really have a, you know, like a superstition about seaweed soup helping, you know, with everything. It's like the best meal for women who just gave birth. But if I had to compare this meal versus probably like meal in US, I would definitely pick the Korean one. So I was actually happy. They gave you also lots of fish. Fish really helps with breast milk apparently, and real unsalted side dishes. So I was okay with it because I haven't been eating that salty anyways during my pregnancy. But the moment Mia took a bite of like my food, because he was curious too, he was like, holy cow, this is so blunt, right? It's good for, I know seaweed soup is very good for blood production and milk production, but oh my god, if you have it for 3 days, oh. So yeah, that was my meal. And then this was his how he slept his second night, because like I said, that bed was not comfy at all, and he had his legs hanging out, so he ended up, you know, doing the military style. They didn't even have anything to put on top of the mat, and they didn't even give him a pillow. So I had 2 pillows. I had to give one to him because I don't usually use 2 pillows anyways. And they didn't even give him a blanket. In the US, I heard it's kind of like an Instagrammable thing, because I've been watching a lot of Instagram during my last month of pregnancy, is that you get a fish boat, right? So I really asked him, I was like, Mia, you know what? When I give birth, the first thing I want you to give me is a fish boat. Unfortunately, in Korea, that's not a thing. That's not like a trend that's happening. So this is a side story, but because I was begging Mia for a fish boat, I don't know, I kind of wanted to be like, I haven't eaten sashimi, any raw food, for 10 months, guys. And so I really craved it, right? And so I begged Mia, I want something like fancy. So for people who don't know what that is, they call it fishboat, right? It's a boat where they place different sashimi and like choba, sushi and everything. So I was like, oh my god, I really, really want this. And they do it, it's kind of like a meme, and I guess just in US. So the side story is that Mia really tried hard to get me one. And so what he ended up doing was, because you can buy sashimi and sushi separately in the US, he actually was looking to get a boat. So he found a boat using Naver. It was a bit pricey, but he ended up finding it. They were shipping it from somewhere, I have no clue, random. And they started asking him for these like personal questions. So like he gave one of his numbers, not like credit card number, but I think it was his like transportation fee number that they have in Korea. 관세 fee. So he gave that to the people, and all of a sudden they were like canceling on the order and saying, oh, the product hasn't been shipped because of this blah 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 issue, so he felt so iffy that he ended up not getting a fish boat. But yeah, that's how dedicated he was in trying to buy me a fish boat. So instead of getting me a fish boat, my other request was bubble tea. So that's what he gave me. So I was not gonna complain. The reason why I also cut on bubble tea was, first of all, the sugar, how much sugar it has. After I passed my diabetes test, I was just hardcore drinking lots of sugary beverages that he was like, you're not gonna have any sugary beverages until you give birth. And bubble tea is one of the drink that has way too much caffeine, like green tea, black tea, any of those tea. So I cut down on all the teas. Now I know a lot of doctors do say sometimes like it's okay to have a certain amount of tea or a certain amount of caffeine, but you can never measure that amount. They say, oh, like what, 1 cup of Americano is okay. Okay, what does that mean in tea words, or what does that mean in bubble tea words? And then they also mention how, don't forget, other meals might have caffeine. So I was like, okay, does that mean, like I was being very calculative, and I was like, okay, you know what, this is making way too much stress on my end. So I just ended up not drinking any caffeinated beverage all throughout pregnancy as well. So I wanted 2 meals that had the most caffeine, which is bubble tea for me, and sushi, which we ended up getting later during my breastfeeding. But the boat thing was a failure. So yeah, luckily my hospital allowed food to be brought in. So not only did he bring me bubble tea, he also gave me some ice cream. But funny story is, in Korea, you're not supposed to have icy food after pregnancy. They say that your teeth are going to fall out. But I'm like, you know what? It's my teeth are fine for right now, so I needed some sugary food after it. But yeah, the whole experience for my hospital wasn't bad. The only thing that was really, really, really crappy was the air conditioning. The AC, there was no AC remote controller in my room, so I was getting really hot. But not just that, my baby is also very sensitive to heat, as in he overheats a lot, so he has to be in a very cool area. So I asked the front desk, because I wanted to stay with my baby. I was like, is there a remote controller in this, like, for the room? And they were like, nope. And I was like, oh, why? And they said that it was like system air conditioning, so which means that if I change my room, then every room changes. And so they try to keep it in the most generic temperature that all moms are happy. And also another thing in Korea in terms of like AC is that if it's too cold, then you'll have problems with your body. So they don't want women who just gave birth to be in a room that has the AC turned on. So I guess it was probably an old building that was causing this issue, but it was very hot. So my baby was supposed to be staying in a room temperature of 22 degrees, at most 24, 25. That's how we have it in my room. But the hospital, at least in my room, I swear to God, it was like 30 degrees Celsius. So in terms of Fahrenheit, babies are supposed to be kept in like 68 to 72, 3 degrees Fahrenheit. But my room, I would have to say, was 80. That's how hot it felt like. So, I'm supposed to be in socks, like Korean culture wise. Keep your hands warm, your feet warm, your body should be warm. Having to have blankets all the time. They made me wear long sleeves. Like my mom was freaking out when I was in like not tank top, but in a t-shirt. They gave you like a onesie. They were like, no, 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 you know, like, and you see all of the women who gave birth all like, you know, suited. I shouldn't use the word suited, but like all prepared, you know, they have like arm gloves, socks. It wasn't just even the normal socks, it was the like the overheating socks. I don't know what you call them. You can see here, this is my socks that they made me put on. And do you see the blanket, how thick the blanket is? They gave you more blankets later on, but I was like, I'm heating, like I'm hot, like let me take off. But they were like, no, you gotta put things on. So it was very uncomfortable, but they also do this just in case something gets wrong with the wife or something gets wrong with the mom, then they would probably blame it on the hospital. So they try to keep it as neutral as possible. So I wasn't gonna complain about it. But because of that, in Korea, usually what's interesting is that babies are kept in a different location, which means babies are not with me. We're not with the baby 24/7. Some people like it, but apparently in the US, they don't really like it. They would rather be with the baby than have them off. But that meant I can only see the baby 2 times a day. So in terms of trusting, I guess because it's a hospital, people trust it. And I don't know, it's been kind of like a thing in Korea where when women give birth, instead of worrying about the baby as much, they become more worried about themselves. And a lot of people who gave birth earlier actually recommend moms to say don't have your kid with you because you won't get enough rest, is kind of what the trend is happening in Korea. So when I was getting ready to give birth, I wanted the baby with me because I read in a lot of articles, and even my brother said it's great to be with the baby because you'll get the early bonding. But a lot of my Korean, 선배s actually recommended me saying, don't be with the baby. You won't get any sleep. Get as much sleep as you can. And I was like, that's weird, right? How much sleep can you not get? Like, I wanted to actually test it. This is like engineering Jinri brain going on. Like, how bad is it? I didn't get that much sleep being with a baby. But yeah, so it really sucked that I can only see the baby twice. So they have it. It's kind of like the K-drama. In the US, when the baby is born, they are with the parents, with the mom and the dad, they're in the same room, right? In Korea, they were actually placed in this room called baby room. That's the translation. And this is how it looks like. Something like this, right? So it's like a baby parade. Like, there's just so many babies. And so they usually keep these shut. And then what happens is when it's time, they give you 2 times per day to see the baby. So when it is the time to see the baby, they open the blindfold. These are the blindfolds, guys. On the wall, yeah. What's really interesting about this area is that they have really, really good soundproof that you don't hear the babies cry. So you imagine that all of these kids, all these babies are angels. They don't cry. They are like just sleeping 24/7. Every time we go see them, they're sleeping and they're happy. Which means that me trying to breastfeed my baby, they allowed it maybe twice a day, 3 times a day. And you had to register online through an app to breastfeed the baby. And there goes my baby to cry. So in Korea, they are placed in these, like, how would you describe that image, right? They are just like neatly placed in order. And you have the blindfold open when you want to see the baby. So what was pretty funny about that moment is let's say they open the baby room at 11. Then Mia and I prepared ourselves to go there at 10:50 because moms line up in front to see the babies, right? And which makes sense. They want to see their babies. But they're there for like 10-20 minutes. And what sucks is that this opening of seeing the baby is only 30 minutes. So we have to time ourselves real quick. We got to run to see the babies, or else we won't get to see the baby or won't be able to take good pictures. We'll be like, I'm trying to take the picture. Oh, is this showing? So it really sucks. So the next day, we ended up requesting the baby to stay with us for like 17-18 hours, and that was a disaster. And I think we'll end here so that I'll tell you the disastrous story of how the baby was with us the next day because he's crying a lot. Anyways, thank you guys, chat. As you guys can hear, my baby's crying a lot. Okay, so anyways, thanks for watching and see you guys tomorrow. Bye.